my name is Newbie. I'm an artist and an old lady at heart with way too many hobbies, so I've started talking about them online. This is a vlog that I've had sitting on my computer for about the past week or so. It started on July 6th, but I got sick and I couldn't do a voiceover to really talk about what was going on in that week I filmed. So I ended up doing a bit of writing and then immediately threw away all of my writing and just focused on crochet for a week straight because I ended up making a baby blanket for some friends they're not really my friends, they're my boyfriend's friends. They just had a newborn. It's their second child, I believe. His name is Dylan. He's so cute. But I ended up throwing away my writing plans to make a blanket that same week. But to talk about writing has been going alright. It's not been awful. I'm not having as many troubles with the plate short story that I'm still working on. If you didn't see my first writing vlog, I ended up trying to rekindle my love for writing again. I haven't written in quite a while. I was in college for about 3 years. I graduated early. I have a bachelor's in creative writing, and something about college, something about having assignments where I had to have writing done, it just really killed the fun of it all, which that's why I went to college in the first place, was because I enjoyed writing. And then after college I ended up not wanting to write at all, and it's been 2 years since I graduated, and I'm trying to get back into doing all of my hobbies that I enjoy, whether it's writing or you'll see later some crochet. I also do a lot of drawing and painting and a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't even name because even I don't know what all my hobbies are because I keep adding to them. But in my last vlog, I was working on a short story that I started in college. It's about a middle-aged older woman who used to have quite a comfortable life, her and her husband together. But then one day he sort of turns into a plate, or she thinks he's turned into a plate because surely he hasn't left her. And so the story starts off with her taking said plate that may or may not be her husband to a pawn shop in order to have it appraised so she can find out once and for all if it really is her husband or if he left her years before. Something like that. I'm still nailing down the tagline. That was way too long. I'll work on that. But I've been working on that short story for the past couple months, more consistently recently. I've done a couple versions where I've written it out by hand, just trying to see how I want to tell the story, how serious I want the story to be, how whimsical, how much I need to deep dive into my main character's past with her husband, if really at all. But then again, she's got a sentimental connection to him, so I suppose I should. I don't know, I'm still figuring out. It's still a work in progress. But I worked on that quite a bit. I did a couple different writing sprints. The first, I started a new document and completely was just going off of some notes that I had written about a week before. And I got around 400-ish words and ended up diverting from what I had handwritten out while I had some free time at work, and ended up with the draft currently being around 1,000. So it's a start. It's not going to be very long, maybe only around 3,000 words or so. I don't want it to be a very long story. My short stories have historically run terribly long. A short story for me is usually about 8 to 15,000 words, which is way too long for a short story, and considering at the time I was a much less experienced writer than I hopefully would be now. And they're not the best. They're okay. They're not awful. I don't want to think that they're awful because then that'll send me down a spiral, but I'm already editing a ton. I've got a huge backlog of stories. But I do have some goals for the end of July. Even though I'm a bit late with this vlog going up, I do still have some plans for the rest of the month. It's currently July 20th as of right now, me speaking. And I want to have this plate story done by the end of the month, as well as a story I previously wrote about a family wrestling with the idea of putting a collar on their child after he almost got into a car accident. It's kind of odd, but that's all I'm going to say about that one, because I don't want to spoil it. It's a little spoilery if I really went into it. That's another story I need to find a tagline for. But I've got 2 short stories, nevertheless, that I would love to have finished by the end of the month, because I want to start publishing again. I want to get to submitting my stories like I used to. I used to have so much passion for writing, and it's something I've been thinking about quite a bit, is how I just see so many people online nowadays, like Sophie Von On or Anna New, and they all have so much passion for writing, and I feel like I've lost that, and I want to get that back. Same with my other hobbies, like my crochet. Um, Oh, I've just been having such a great time recently, though, trying to get back in the swing of everything, back into my hobbies. For the crochet blanket, I'll talk a little more about that while I still have some time. I ended up making the Betty McKnitt 6-day star blanket. It took me a little over 6 days, probably about 10 days in total, actually, because I do work and I'm still figuring out my schedule, even though it's gotten more consistent than it has been in the past. But I love this baby blanket so much. I found some really nice velvety yarn. It's the Mainstays brand. I got it at Walmart just on a whim. And I loved this blanket. I would not recommend this kind of velvety yarn for beginners. It was really hard to see my stitches. I was using a 5mm to a 5.25mm hook, so it's much smaller than the yarn requires, and also much smaller than Betty McKnitt suggests for making her star blanket. She suggests going up quite a few hook sizes, but I just don't like doing that. I'd rather my blanket, the stitches be quite tight. But anyway, I've got a series of shorts on that over on my channel if you'd like to check them out. But I love this blanket so much. I've had such a blast getting back into my hobbies, whether it's writing or crochet. And I'm not mad that my writing plans for the week got completely taken over by my crochet. I've had a wonderful time. And I hope all of your hobbies are going well. Let me know in the comments what you're working on. I'd love to hear it. But anyway, I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.